What the fuck's going on? Oh God! I hope me cussing isn't like the first thing that comes on the stream. Is this actually live? Am I actually live now? Am I here? Can you guys hear me right now? Oh, I'm actually live this time. That's awesome. I'm glad I've been talking for like 10 minutes. 10, 14 minutes. All right. Cool. We're live. Hello, Jack. Hello, Deborah. Good to see you. Welcome to the Scarred Thumb podcast. Oh, boy. I've literally been, okay. Oh, this is kind of annoying. Well, I guess I'll have to let me start over my talk about this. The age of gameplay mechanics has already passed. Like, I hit the live button. I know I did, and I could have swore it said going live, but maybe it just stopped. Like, it paused midway through. All right, so this is the age of gameplay mechanics have already passed. This is a story from the Shadow of Colossus director. If you don't know who the Shadow of Colossus was, it was a PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 game. It's about climbing like these big giants and stabbing. It's really well regarded for its like art direction and mechanics and story. It's very artsy. It's liked by a lot of people that like are really into video games. I've never played it myself, but it's well respected. So he says the age of gameplay mechanics has already passed. That's pretty interesting. Quote for me at least. And then he praises this new Katamari Damacy game for not being system driven. Let me just give you a short preview. This is not the game. This is a short preview of what this game to a T is like that he's referring to in this interview. Just give me an idea what it is.
It is a game about the teenager who's stuck being T-pose and very cute dog. So I made a Katamari, which is about rolling up the object and making it bigger. Then Nobi Nobi Boy is stretching the body, and WuChang is more connection and the explode. All those games, interactivity was highest priority. And this time, interactivity is more like a low priority. Yeah, the priority was a joy. Priority was more people make smile and laugh. I like that moment. It's so stupid. No smart game design was game mechanic or nothing.
You can kind of see it. It's just kind of goofy.
Spit the water.
And that's what it's meant to be.
I like that. I wanted to make
telling like a goofy story with some elements of interactivity
together, like a human animal.
This is what he's known to make. Like Katamari Damacy was like it
in the game as well. Being stuck at the T-pose almost all the time is so frustrated. When you go to the bathroom, that's the biggest problem, I believe.
I want to use the restroom by myself. The little things, yeah, the little things are hard for me.
I can't wait to see the player experience last moment of the game. It is very touching and also very stupid. Pure T will be launched on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC on May.
He even describes it as very stupid, but it's stupid in a very intentional way. To for the player's enjoyment, to enjoy the sort of goofiness of what the game is like. So this Shadow of Colossus director had contacted Takahashi prior to their chat to ask him, the designer, how to play to a T. And Takahashi responded that the game didn't have any special mechanics, and Yuta responded, that's great. So he clarified, well, I don't know why I replied with that's great back then. I was most likely thinking the age of gameplay mechanics has already passed, which, is sort of like the hook of the article that I was interested in. I guess it's not the age to release new devices or to offer new mechanics with each and every game. And that might be true, honestly, with the way the Switch 2 is gone, Switch to the Switch 2, Xbox, PlayStation, nobody's releasing like a really like new piece of hardware that enables sort of like new game design. It's just let's make it stronger, let's make it better, with more performance. But Yuta points out the games don't need to invent whole new systems when you use art and narrative design to drive the experience forward. Even if there are nothing novel about mechanics, you can push the game forward with a certain vibe or artwork, he explains. Personal preference aside, I'm saying that what I'm saying is that it would be better to give already existing gameplay mechanics more definition. And that's sort of interesting. I mean, I'm not like super into, let's just do vibes type of things, because I mean, there's an advantage and disadvantage. One, if you can really do it well, which, this Katamari Damacy guy has a very unique sort of vibe to his games, and for fans of that stuff, they're going to eat it up, and he executes it very well. I mean, you could just look at the trailer. It's got a certain like silliness to it that I think players are really going to like. If you like that kind of stuff, you're going to like the game. And it's very, simple stuff that just has like a goofy narrative attached. So it's just fun to play. He does it really well. If you can do it like that, again, you don't need to offer any like super compelling or unique gameplay mechanics. You just play it to enjoy it. It's like consuming content. Though, on the other end, I like games like, Night Rain or something like that, which isn't, which also isn't like super unique in mechanics, but you have to really learn the sort of game. You have to try over and over again. It's more about execution. There's playing a game for content, and there's also like playing a game to sort of like master the game, which like a lot of like shoot 'em ups, that's the fun of the shoot 'em up, is that you have to do the game over and over and over again in order to sort of master the levels and the stages and the challenges that the gameplay designer has put out for you. It's a very, like a shoot 'em up's a very tailored experience, very controlled, very tailored experience. It's on rails. The timing is defined by the gameplay, by the maker of the game. And then you have on the opposite end, you have like something like Donkey Kong, which is the opposite of sort of like a tailored experience. It does have specific stuff you have to do to move the narrative forward, but you just have like so much exploration that you can do in this game. You can just go off the path for hours upon hours, just discovering little things and little secrets. So while the challenge itself really isn't there, you're not being challenged constantly. It's not very intense, but it's fun just because of the way they've made this sort of destruction of the terrain, and just the overall feel of the game is really good. I mean, if you talk about like vibes or art, I think Donkey Kong really like does it extremely well. You could, I guess, call the terrain destruction like a gameplay mechanic, but I think it's more almost like a toy in a way, like Minecraft is a toy. It's like a sandbox that you just play around and have fun. And occasionally there are some challenges and some boss fights that you can do to sort of, again, push the narrative forward and go to new areas. But it's not necessary. You don't really feel super pressured to do that. So, maybe he has a point in that, in the sense that you don't need to create the super tailored experience. And in a way, it is sort of like on the outs. Maybe it's better than making like the 500th Dark Souls like game. I don't know. Especially if you get the sort of, or maybe even, you can even make the your Dark Souls like, but he's saying like you have to really nail down the mechanics or like really flesh them out or focus in on it and make something that has like a really unique, very artistic storyline. Even, something that you wouldn't consider artistic, but like Space Marine 2, I think had a very limited scope. It was kind of based off Space Marine 1, but they really refined it and focused down. And I think visually and in the sound design, they just really nailed the idea of being this like gigantic Space Marine and just ultra powerful, demigod of a man just killing aliens. They just nailed that vibe. And I think it's really what carried the game forward to success and really just makes it super fun to play. It's not like I'm doing like, whoa, these mechanics and this like challenge is just masterfully done. It's, though I think it is very good. It's really just how the game makes you feel that I think is just the best part of the game. It's just being in that world and just feeling like this giant like beast of a man in a suit of armor, killing the enemies of humanity. It's just great. So he may have a point in this though. I don't quite like the idea of games just being like to a T. I mean, they're fun, but I don't know if they have like a ton of replay value. And personally, like as a man, I like a challenge. I like to like sort of master these games and these systems, figure out how to exploit them, and figure out how to beat it on like the hardest difficulty. So I know this direction of game is fun, but it's like a 1 or 2 off game. It's probably not super long. I don't know how much it costs, but if you just want to play it, to just sort of enjoy it, just sort of get in that mood where you don't necessarily want like a challenge or like a big fight, but you just want to sort of like explore and enjoy the vibes of it. It's something like this can be really good. I don't know, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't want all video games to be like this, but something like this is fun on occasion. But I just thought it was an interesting thing to bring up. And it says, there's some truth to what you just say is maybe, if not most games are releasing these days with existing mechanical frameworks that are so revitalized through an interesting theme, story, and visual art. But I would also say that there's been a case for much of gaming histories too. True mechanical innovation is exceedingly rare, tending to occur incrementally rather than sudden leaps, which is 100% true, actually. It's just, people building off other ideas. Even as far back as the 8-bit era, most games were riffs on other titles rather than wholly original works. I know Ryan was playing, Radiant Silvergun, which I think is made by Treasure. I know Treasure didn't invent shoot 'em ups. Both their games, that and Ikaruga, are really just kind of riffs off a traditional like shoot 'em up bullet hell type of a game. They just add unique mechanics. They're not like Cave or Topland, which sort of like invented the genre and really moved the genre forward. They're kind of like offshoots of that are just really well done. Here's like this fresh RPG like mechanics and different weapons that you can have, or like again the sort of like polarity shifting was a very cool idea. So they're riffs off what other people have made that make a very sort of unique game. It also helps that computers are rapidly iterating alongside the gamers played on them. The games played on them, I should say, enabling developers to create more ambitious, complex experiences. I mean, this is a double-edged sword, I think. When you give developers like too much freedom to do stuff, they end up making this really poorly optimized junk. And we'll get into one game that seems to be suffering with a lot of optimization problems. If you just sort of like let them go a whole hog, they can also kind of go in I think unrestrained directions that ultimately hurt their project. In any case, Chris Livingston likewise enjoyed Takahashi's latest, as he described, to a T, at least slightly less than Yuta's apparently did. It's a shame that 2-T can be frustrating to actually play at times, Chris said. Citing the game's awkward camera. Oh, God. People that complain about cameras are the worst. But it's worth struggling through the sometimes awkward gameplay for the fabulous story contained within the 5-hour duration. Like 5 hours. That's what you get for the game. I don't know how much it costs, so let me see. 2AT. On Steam, you can buy it for $20. Okay. That's not bad. So it's sort of like, again, like an artsy project, a smaller one. You play for 5 hours for $20. I can get behind that. It's surprising. It's got a lot of laughs, and there's a nice message at the score. It's a fun vibe game. And on those, like I said, those are good. A good change of pace a lot of times. But let's move on. We're talking about some other gameplay mechanics. This is a game I was mentioning when people are kind of unrestrained. So WuChang, Fallen Feathers, peaks at over 100,000 players on Steam, but it is sitting at 19% on Steam. Nearly every review stating major studying problems and performance issues. So this is a game that was really hotly anticipated. It's another sort of like Stellar Blade, has a very beautiful woman in it. As you can see, here's like the official Twitter account asking for what your favorite outfit is. I mean, you can look at some of this. Visually, it is very impressive. Of course, it's a very shapely Korean or Asian woman in it. Very unique outfits here, but not everybody likes this sort of gratuitous sexuality. Not Xbox era. In their review, gorgeous visuals, fantastic soundtrack and VO, finely tuned combat full of options, an intriguing story that earns its ending. Difficult but fair. But, what's this at cons? Gooner approved. So a new con just dropped, guys. Gooner approved is a con apparently in the era in the era of modern gaming. Gooner approved. Is this real or edited? And then someone replied, "Here's the real or at least current version." Gooner approved is both a pro and a con, so they changed it a bit, saying it's Gooner approved, and the con is that it's Gooner approved. It's pretty funny. I don't know why in the world they need to bring this up, but this is kind of like the sort of unfair double standard that you're pushed into with these games. If you make a game for men, there's like this sort of like unwritten rule that it's not a good thing. It's crude, it's gross, it's juvenile to make women that look like this. I mean, why are you blatantly appealing to heterosexual men? This is pushing women's rights back, apparently. And of course, women are mad. We'll also get into that as they try to shut down certain video games here. But yeah, Gooner approved is a new thing just dropped for journalists here. But there is definitely some issues. Even Grums, the Gooner loving game, sort of like the poster boy for these games, can't even defend defend the performance here. Did WuChang Fallen Feathers just lie to everyone? WuChang's patch 3.1 to 4.1 performance increases are sus as hell. YouTuber Daniel Owens claims that all they did was remove native resolution and force you to lower internal resolution without telling you. Here's the video link and the results from this video in his thread. So it's getting bad reviews, becoming performance issues. The patch note claims its super sampling resolution limits has been adjusted on select GPU models to prevent unintended performance. So how could this happen? How could performance only increase on native resolution but not on other options? Could be an option across the board. So this could be, WuChang having bad reviews, really going for like a cheap, quick fix to try and, mediate some of the bad press around the performance issues, which is weird because they never mention this and the cons. I mean, if you look at it, occasional hitches after teleporting for a few seconds. And this kind of shows you how bad journalist reviews are. Not just because of the obviously like left-wing bias, but because they never mention anything about performance. So a lot of people, maybe on older PCs, I assume, the reviewers have a pretty new high-end PC, so they never get this sort of issue. But clearly a lot of people, I mean, you look at the reviews, 19% positive reviews. A lot of people are having some issues. But a lot of people seem to also be enjoying it too. So, but it is interesting if he's going to, the developer is going to try and fix it by just sort of removing resolution options. That's not good. So this might be sort of like a wait and see. I watched Donkey play a bit of the gameplay on it the other day. It looks all right. It's not my sort of game. I've never been like a big Sekiro, Dark Souls type of guy. But obviously the visuals look really good. It's got a hot babe that you can play as, so that's nice. But this might be sort of like a wait a few months, wait for it to go on sale, and hope they fix these sort of performance issues by then. But a game that is doing really well, and I haven't had any performance issues with it. Elden Ring Night Rain has passed 5 million copies sold, while Elden Ring Shadow of Erdtree has soared past 10 million downloads, FromSoft has announced. Good to see Night Rain doing well. I'm really enjoying Night Rain. I haven't been playing it lately because they sort of ran out of new content, but they'll be dropping soon here. And Night Rain has outsold Mario Kart in June. The spinoff sold 2 million units on its first day of release, so Night Rain topping Mario Kart World, of course. I don't know if everyone can get a hold of Switch 2s right now, so that might be kind of limiting the amount of new sales you can get. If you bought the bundle, you're probably not going to buy the $80 Mario Kart version. They have cheap pills for that. How's it going, JWB? Good morning, X-Runner. Good to see you. So FromSoft compared Elden Ring Night Rain much desired duo mode will arrive July 30th alongside 1.0. So if you don't know, it's a 3-player game. Originally was just 3 players. Like you have to have 3 players to play it. They added a solo mode in for people that just want to play by themselves with some adjustments. And now they're releasing a 2-player duo mode if you just have 2 people and you don't want to try and find a random. The biggest issue with the game is it's been plagued by matchmaking issues. It's just been taking forever to find a match. I think the parameters they set for matching people are just like too specific. But this gives an option if you don't want to play with three a dedicated 3-man team. You can go into like a duo mode to play with just 2 people. You and a friend, you can play together, and I think that it adjusts the difficulty based on that. The boss's HP and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. Cool to see. It just keeps getting better, and I think, like I said, I think Night Rain's a very fun game. So it's giving more people a way to play the game the way they want it. Because, I've been lucky enough. I have 2 of my brothers. We always play together. We always play, at least I always play in a 3-stack with them. So I've never had any matchmaking issues. I've tried to find a match by myself like a few times, and it did not work out well. Like I just gave up trying to matchmake. I'm like, oh, I'm not finding a match. Yeah, I'll just wait until my brothers are on. I'll play with them. So this helps give more people, a better experience. So it just keeps getting better as it adds more content into. A lot of fun. This is something that came out, not necessarily video game related, but maybe related in the future. Who knows? Coming down the line. So this UK law came out that requires, I guess, age verification for a lot of stuff. Maybe it's sometimes pornography. I think it's mostly pornographic, but I can't confirm that. I don't know 100% about this UK law, but it's causing people who make drawings. This artist makes 18 plus sort of drawings. He can't see his own Twitter feed. It is pretty funny. It just shows how like ridiculous some of this stuff can be. VPN usage is up. And this is interesting because they banned this stuff for under 18, and they just passed a law lowering the voting age to 16. So, what is the deal with the UK? They cannot get their shit together. You lower the age to 16, but they still can't view pornography until they're 18. That may not work out for them. I don't know if you sort of lower the age for teenagers, give them voting rights to after you piss them off. Who knows though? I think people were complaining about Discord too. They can't get into their own Discord. Who knows if this is going to be coming down the line for other stuff, because a lot of games are being de-indexed for these pornographic games. So itch.io, they're a smaller platform known for basically, they're like Steam, but the developers get a better cut. Like Steam will take like 30% if you're a smaller dev. Itch.io, I think you can almost choose how much they take, or at least initially. So it's been a platform for like a lot of smaller developers to enjoy. It's supposed to be like very unrestricted, but as we see, that doesn't happen when you're dealing with MasterCard and Visa. So this is from Eurogamer by Matt Wales. Itch.io, the digital distribution platform known for its focus on independent game developers and other artists, has de-indexed all not safe for work content following discussions with payment processors contacted by the same Austrian pressure group that recently Australian pressure group that recently targeted Steam. Hint said something was a Man, what a mess today. What a mess. Am I back live here? Can you guys hear me again? Can you hear me? Just let me know if I'm back here. I will be drinking my my Monster Energy drink until then. Delicious Ultra Peachy Keen. All right, we're back. Excellent. Okay, so to recap, itch.io removes unsafe for work games. They mentioned that Collective Shout there recently came under scrutiny from our payment process regarding the nature of some content hosted on itch.io due to a game titled No Mercy, which was temporarily available on itch.io before being banned in April. The organization Collective Shout launched a campaign against Steam and itch.io, directing concerns to our payment processors about the nature of content found on platforms. So they're saying Collective Shout, being shrill nags, got this game removed. It's a pressure group that claims to be against the objectification of women and the sexualization of girls, and for anyone against the pornification of culture. So they don't like the pornification of culture. Okay. So they're mad. They're promoting a petition to pull Quantum Dreams, Detroit Become Human argument depicted child abuse and violence against women. More successful were its efforts to ban Tyler, the creator, from touring the country in 2015. So they're just shrill nags. People have they've released a thing that they did indexed all adult non-safe for work content. Some people are saying that they also removed game the stream. It seems like the stream, it seems like this is just, my stream is just falling apart here. Are we back? All right. So let's just move on. We got the savvy lady is, I know, they're shutting me down. They're coming for me. My credit card's been denied to Comcast here, as they've, Visa and MasterCard don't like it. This is Savvy going against Collective Shout. And their sort of like attempt to get rid of these games. It's not, to me, this is just the payment processor thing. I mean, sure, Collective Shout is asking them to remove it, but I feel like they're not just doing it because the hell of it, like, whoa, I can't believe this, we got to get rid of it. I think they want to do this. They want to get rid of these games, and Collective Shout is just sort of like a reason to do it. They want to get rid of it. It's like, when they got rid of Sam Hyde from Adult Swim, they knew what the content he was making. They just were waiting for a journalist to make an article somewhere so they can reverse justify it and say like, oh, look at this. We have to get rid of it because of this. So in some ways, like, focusing on Collective Shout almost seems counterproductive because I think they're pretty much a know-nothing. It's really, the issue is Visa and MasterCard being able to do this for whatever they feel like. I mean, this seems like a direct attack against free speech. Again, if, like, does the First Amendment exist if banks can just remove any way for you to do business? Do you actually have freedom of expression at that point? If, they can debank you, they can remove any of your payment processors. Like over 90% of payments made in the world are through Visa and MasterCard. It is ridiculous. And the fact that they're like team up together most of the time to do this totally removes any way for you to sort of have any sort of semblance of business if they decide they don't like you. The government has to do something about it. I think that's really the only way that this is going to get resolved. I mean, Collective Shout, you can like go after them all you want. They're terrible people. I don't like them either. But the real issue, I think the thing that really scares me is just how much power these credit card processors and banks have to restrict what you can do and what you can say, what type of art you can make. It's a scary time, and even guys like Aftermath are getting in on it and saying that it's just crazy.
It's just crazy, especially that they found this way to do it. Because again, you can only go so far in terms of direct censoriousness.
Guys, okay.
Laws.
If you're listening on headphones only, tell me if you think there are 3 men in this podcast or 2.
Let's just skip all that. Let's go around it and go through payment processors, which have all this control that most normal people never think about. They do not think about just how powerful the companies in charge of how we spend money are. They are some of the most powerful in the world, far and away. They supersede most laws.
Especially in a world where, like, I don't think I've touched cash in a year. Like,
Maybe.
I pay for everything with my phone. Like, I don't even use...
Is that a woman? I really don't know. It's Aftermath, so I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I think they're right on the money. And like, unfortunately, I think the more right wing are going to go after feminists because it's kind of their shtick. But it really is, the issue is Visa MasterCard. It's not Collective Shout. As much as I dislike, what this group stands for, I don't really give a shit about Collective Shout. Visa and MasterCard is really, really the big issue. And I do not know what exactly you could do about that without some pressure from the government saying like, hey, we're just going to shut you down or fine you if you continue to do stuff like this. Gabe Newell won't do it because he apparently is, in an interview, he says, between billionaires and the rest of us, an awful lot of luck. That's an interesting article. It's a summation of a interview that I didn't watch, but it's kind of interesting to see him like, hey, rather than credit the fact that he's like saying like he's like a genius, he basically says like, hey, I got very lucky, which is I think true of a lot of billionaires. Obviously, they have skills. They're in the right place, right time, doing the right thing. It's not like Gabe Newell has specifically, some specific genius or some specific, daily routine. He basically just says like, hey, I was in the right place. I made the right decision, especially with Steam as far as, his success, beating everyone out to the sort of digital marketplace and becoming the place, sort of like the digital storefront for PC games. And of course, another thing that's also not necessarily luck, but a great decision is he never went public with with the company. They stayed private. They didn't rely on that sort of outside capital through staying public. So he never got bought out by Microsoft or anybody else. And I think it's one of the reasons Steam has been so successful is that it can at least sort of make those decisions internally, and it's not beholden to shareholders like that. They can actually sort of focus on making the right decisions. And so far, they've been doing very well. Who knows, if Gabe goes away, if it gets sold off, what's going to happen to it. But at least it's been able to sort of stay the course and I think make fairly good decisions as far as, what its software has been putting out. And, I guess it stopped making games, but for a while it was making very good games. Not so much anymore, but what can you do? I also really like some like the marketplace. I think was a very good idea. Did it really make early access thing? That's been a hit and miss. But I mean, for a lot of like small developers, early access has been a very good thing to get. You have a cool game concept and you make it work. I think like for the 100 trash games that go on in early access, if you get like one good game, gets a chance to succeed, then you know what? I think it's worth it overall. So I mean, Steam, I'm glad Gabe succeeded here. I think he's been doing overall. Steam's been pretty good. I mean, you can complain about the cuts and a lot of stuff. It's not perfect, but overall, I'm happy. I use Steam and I'm happy with the product. So good for him. And of course, when they used to make games, they were really amazing. Another Steam thing related that was kind of funny, I guess they had to disable family sharing for Doom and Waking because people were somehow abusing the feature. They didn't specifically say what the exploit was, but they suspect that multi-accounting to collect, drops from stuff as being used. It's pretty funny that the feature has to be disabled because people are using it to exploit the game somehow. It's kind of funny. Let's go in quick. This is an interesting thing. And so this is an art contest that was rocked by AI controversy. Someone got disqualified. I don't know if they show the picture here, but this is an unfortunate thing that's going to happen with like any public art contest for any video game. They're a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to like see the community members and what they can do. There's a lot of awesome art for these video games as they inspire a lot of like artists to make stuff for it. It's always been fun, but nowadays with AI art, you're going to have a very hard time, sussing out what's real and what isn't, what's been actually like fully drawn and what's not. So this is someone made a sort of document kind of going over issues with the artist that won submission. So this is them showing another challenge, another thing that they made before. So if you can see, this is on top, this is the art that they made here or submitted. And then you look at It's almost like these two on the bottom, Chung Lo and Hunger Clicker, these two specific pieces of artwork kind of blended together. They changed the mask, but the fingers are the same here. I mean, just literally directly copied, really. And the face of Akuma here just sort of, they changed the saturation and the color here, but it's literally the same thing. Literally just two copied pictures. That's it. Come on, dude. And then here's another submission. There's also a blatant copy. You can see they copied the sort of art style, but also like directly pasting some elements. They mentioned some like the lines are kind of weird on the, which is a lot more subtle on the hair or on the shirt here. And this is sort of combined. So this is like here comes a ranked challenger. So this is supposed to be Cammy, but kind of like a copy from Android 18. And then this is the winning entry. So they sort of like building up the evidence, like these other two were submitted by them. So the chances are that this third one, that I don't think it's directly copied by anyone, but the fact that it has some strange instances sort of imply that it would also be AI. So this person got disqualified. I think Capcom decided to disqualify. And I think the other thing is like the fact that the winning account just deleted their Twitter after this came out. They didn't try to defend it. Then they tried to show proof that they made it themselves. They literally just deleted their Twitter and moved and just said, peace out. Kind of shows that they were probably guilty here when they made this artwork. But this is an unfortunate thing that happens with any contest. If you want it just to be an original drawing, there's a pretty good chance that it's not going to show up. This isn't video game related, but man, if you've seen this sort of like new Batman revealed, it is absolutely pathetic. So this is like Aztec Batman here. This is a Manlet King is sort of like a parody account, but right-wing parody account, or it's like a right-wing, more like joke account. Where he's saying, that's right, Guano Man, I'm holding Teo Pixel hostage and you'll never find him. You monster, without him, we can't sacrifice enough children to make the sun rise. The children will live and there's nothing you can do about it. So basically the conquistadors are being portrayed as the bad guy again. And the Aztecs are the good guys, guys. Aztecs are the good guys. Aztecs known for, mounds of skulls and sacrificing many human sacrifices. But, they're the good guys because they're not white. It's the... did they choose it? I don't know if they choose a winner. Maybe they went the second place. I assume. I didn't look that far into it. But this is just, again, another example of Western media just hating white people. Hating like any sort of European culture. Of course, the Spanish aren't white. Though they're pretty white comparatively. But it's like, whoa, the Aztecs, they're the good guys. And also, this just looks so stupid. Holy moly. Like, so lame. Just let's take Batman and make him an Aztec. That's really cool. I mean, the Japanese Batman thing was kind of neat looking, but this is just awful. And then, of course, this was retweeted by Chris Cruz, another liberal journalist. Listen up, liberals die. Of course, so many of these people were mocking Hulk Hogan's death. It's just pathetic. Even Hulk Hogan's death was annoying. We're all in the middle of writing, editing tons of shit. Now I have to pivot to your racist ass. Chris Cruz, again, the double standard, huge racist, just absolutely hates white people. You can constantly see this in Western media and Western journalism. Just an absolute hatred for white people like this. Kotaku, if you need reminding constantly that they are not a games journalist, South Park hits Trump where it hurts his tiny shriveled ego. Good Lord. These headlines. Of course, everyone's like, oh, Stephen Colbert got canceled. I can't believe it. Like, they don't mention, they like, further down, they mentioned that he was losing $40 million a year, but yeah, it was Trump secretly pressuring the network to drop him. It's not the fact that he's super unfunny. This, not really related to video games, but kind of funny, where the T-hack, calling the T-hack a hack is honestly a stretch, where they put everything into a publicly accessible database. Just absolutely like monumental levels of incompetence. Honestly, I feel like the people at T could like go to jail for this. I don't know if they could. I'm not a lawyer, but this is almost like criminal negligence. If you're putting people's data into a publicly accessible database, that's insane. And by the way, Post Zero, I'm not going to be on it. I got other stuff to do, but they're going to be covering that today in Post Zero. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Said I'm with Chris now. And this, poor Mario, man. Bad news for Mario. He's getting friend zoned. Nintendo says Mario and Princess Peach are just good friends that help each other out whenever they can. Yikes. Poor Mario, man. Poor Mario, risking his life to save Princess Peach, and they're just good friends. Dang. I don't know, why would Nintendo do this? It doesn't make sense to me. He's baking the guy cakes and inviting him over. Like, what is the deal? Maybe Mario doesn't want to be pinned down to one woman? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but it's pretty bad. And let's end this with I just thought these gotcha advertisements are pretty amazing. A giant side of the building. This is Brown Dust 2, another gotcha waifu game. One of these 3D gotcha games. Here. Yeah, the end of Odyssey, it is pretty clear. Kind of lame. I didn't like that part. Like that part of it. It's sad. Poor Mario, he's a simp. That's sad to see. Sad to see. But guys, I guess that's it for the podcast. We've had enough technical issues. I'm gonna have a game of the week today. Actually, I played a little bit more Donkey Kong, but I barely played any video games this week. It's sad. This week just seemed like fly by. But that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be redirecting to Post Zero. And like I said, I think it's going to be about the sort of T-app incident. It is really funny. Really funny. A bunch of women go on to complain about men and end up having all their data exposed by what I don't know, malicious or incompetent design is. It's pretty funny. You know, it's a little bit of Schadenfreude here as the most unlikable women get what's coming to them. That kind of thing. But that's it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe. And we'll talk to you next week. Hopefully my internet will be working a little bit better this time. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. The end stream button isn't even highlighted here. So maybe I can do it through